the first example we're going to look at is 4m plus 12. Now, in order to factorise, you need to look at each term and see if there are any common factors. Now, we only have a variable in one of the terms, so it's not a common factor at all. Look at the numbers. The common factor of 4 and 12 is 4. So that's what's going to go out the front of our brackets. Now, if you can't see what the common factor is, to one side you can write your factors out. So for 4 we have 1 times 4 is 4, 2 times 2 is 4. So our factors of 4 are 1, 2 and 4. For 12 we have 1 times 12 is 12, 2 times 6 is 12, and 3 times 4 is 12. We then look at our two lists and see that the highest common factor is 4. From there we go 4 times what gives me 4m, and 4 times m is 4m. We then go 4 times what gives me 12, and it's 3. You can check your answers by expanding out. So it's a check only, it's not necessary, it's something you can do in your head. 4 times m is 4m, 4 times 3 is 12. So you know that you're correct. The next example we're going to look at is 18mn plus 27m. Now start by looking at your numbers. So we've got 18 and 27. Now the highest common factor of 18 and 27 is 9. Again, if you can't see that, off to one side write your factors out like you learnt at the beginning of the course. We then move along and look at our variables and note that we have an m in both terms, so that m can also go out the front as our factor. Now draw a bracket, start with the numbers. 9 times what is 18? That's 2. The m is already there, but we need the n. Go along, we have a positive, so positive goes there. 9 times what is 27? The answer is 3, and the m is already there, so we close our brackets up. Again, in your head, 9m times 2n is 18mn, 9m times 3 is 27m, so that you know you're correct. Next example, 21xy, take 7x. Again, look at your numbers first. 21 and 7. The highest common factor of those two is 7. Move along and see if you've got any variables that are common. In this case, the x is in both terms, so we put it out the front. We now look to see what we need in our brackets. 7 times what is 21 is 3. The x is already there, but we need the y. Now there's a subtraction sign in the middle, so we need to put a minus sign here because a positive times a negative gives me my negative. Now the 7 is already there and the x is already there, so what we need here is a 1. 7x times 1 is 7x. Okay. Next example, negative 12hk plus 24k. Again, we need to look at our numbers first. I always say to students, if you've got a negative out the front, put that negative as your factor, because it makes the brackets look a little bit neater. Then we can move across to our numbers. We've got 12 and 24, and our highest common factor of those is 12. Look to see if any variables are common. In this case, it's k. So our factor in this case is negative 12k. Let's start with our brackets. The negative's already there. Okay, so a negative times a positive is a negative, so my term at the front is going to be positive, and that's what we like to see. We don't really want to have a negative in that beginning of our brackets. The 12's already there, we need the h, and the k is already there. We move on to our next term. Now this is where it gets interesting. We have a negative out the front and we want a positive. So you have to remember, a negative times a negative gives me my positive. Look at the numbers. 12 times what is 24? It's 2, and the k is already there. Okay, so be very careful when you have negatives. I think that's the only thing that really trips some students up. Now last example, 3a minus 6b plus 11a minus b plus 21. Now I always say to students with questions, you should always look to see if you can simplify first. Now in this case we do have some common terms. So 3a plus 11a is 14a. Move along. Negative 6b take b is negative 7b. And we only have one constant, so we put that at the end, the plus 21. Now we can look at factorising what we've got. So let's look at our numbers, 14, 7 and 21. Now a factor of those three numbers would be 7, so we put it out the front. Note that there are no variables common, so 7's on its own. Like before, 7 times what is 14? It's 2, and we need the a. So 7 times 2a is 14a. Now I have a subtraction sign here, so I need to put a negative here. Positive times my negative gives me my negative. The 7 is already there, but we need the b. 7 times negative b gives me negative 7b. Moving along, 21, and I'm starting with 7, so 7 times 3 is 21.